russosbrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Because the people don't understand this, and let's educate the audience a lot, bro, because I find out, Steve, more and more when you got a lot of people chirping on social media, bro, it's because they didn't see and experience what we saw and experienced it. Let's back it up a little bit. Bro, when you talk about job guys back then, bro, you are talking about badasses. You are talking about the Johnny Rodses, the Jose Riveras. You're talking about job guys that literally in today's wrestling scene might be able to kick anybody's ass, bro. So, I don't think a lot of people realize that. I mean, that's where wrestlers made a career. And yes, bro, you were the star makers. You were there to shine the baby faces and get them over. I don't think people understand the art and that you guys were the real deal.
Yeah, they don't realize that I was telling the top guy what to do to me, what to do. I enhanced all their strengths and I hid all their weaknesses. And that's what I did. I worked with everybody differently. And I did it for like 5 years straight. And I became like the best enhancement guy in the company until one day, the greatest manager of my life, Bobby Heenan, walked up to me and said to me, "You know what, Steve, you learned how to wrestle. Now we're going to teach you how to make money." And I says, "What do you mean, Bobby?" He says, "I am going to take you under my wing and I am going to put you in my family." I said, "Holy shit." Could you imagine Andre the Giant, Kurt Hennig, Brooklyn Brawler? I'm actually a member of the Heenan family. So then I started winning everywhere I went. And it all happened on Primetime Wrestling. That was my debut, where Terry Taylor was breaking ties with Bobby Heenan. It's all online. Was breaking ties with Bobby Heenan, and then Bobby got up and said, let's bury the hatchet, go to shake his hand. When he shook his hand, he pulled him in. I came with a bar stool, and I knocked out Gorilla Monsoon, and I knocked out Terry Taylor, and I beat the hell out of Terry Taylor. And Bobby Heenan says, the Brooklyn Brawler was born. And it was incredible. I mean, I loved it, but the only problem was I didn't have Steve Lombardi to put me over. You know what I mean?
Very nice. Yeah.
So I was actually telling the job guys what to do, and I was making them look a little bit better so that it meant something, when I beat them.
Yeah.
It's all psychology. So everybody, I'm in the Heenan family, and everybody knows. It lasted about 2 or 3 years, and then I went back to Brooklyn Brawler doing jobs, job guy is not an insult to me, because when I know what it truly is. So then my phone rings. It's Howard Finkel. He says, "Steve, Vince wants you to wrestle this new guy coming in." He says, "This new guy coming in has never been in a wrestling match in front of an audience in his life."
Wait, hold on, Steve. Don't say anything. That's going to be the tease. That's going to be the tease, because we went through some people that I don't want to fly over. I want to go back. That's going to be the tease. We're going to come right back there.
Okay.
Steve, you've brought up 3 guys already. 3 guys already. Please get into the 3 guys already, because a lot of people have no idea who these people were, how this worked. Let's start with Arnie Skolin.
Okay.
Bro, explain now. Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, Steve, I know you know this name, and bro, I was shocked to hear that he passed away, about a year ago. I had no idea. You know the name Louis Gianfrido, who was the assistant editor of the WWE magazine. He was there forever, and He was so tight with Arnie. Like, he loved Arnie. So I used to always get Arnie stories firsthand. But, bro, explain to people, because they don't understand, like, just the lineage of this business. He was the money guy, right? Arnie was the guy that did the payoffs. Like, just explain what, because people, when we talk about this, it's like some archaic business, but Arnie was the guy with the payoffs, correct?
Right. Everything was cash money. There was no checks. So the settlement was always given to Arnie. He'd have like $200,000 in his briefcase. And the funny thing about Arnie is, which I always told him, he used to go to the bar. He loved Crown Royal. He liked to drink. He liked to have a good time. He would keep the money under his bed. I said, Arnie, please. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm very streetwise. I says, you cannot do that.
Right.
You know what? Luckily, he never got, robbed.
Bro, but Steve, tell people what would have happened if somebody tried to take that money from Arnie. Arnie was a badass, bro.
Arnie, at his age, would have stretched the guy because he had no fear of anyone. He was a great amateur wrestler.
Yes.
Even when you get older, people think when you get older, you lose it. No, you keep your strength. You keep your technique. It only takes 5 pounds of pressure to dislocate a joint in a person's body. And if you know the right holes, the right leverage, you could beat up anyone. But you know what? It was such an experience. Arnold Skolin actually opened the door for me to go to Allentown.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next guy, because you went right over this name, and I'm stopping you on every freaking name because you had a personal relationship with these people, and now I'm Vince Russo. Mark, these are the stories I need, Steve. These are the stories my audience. We went right over Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh my God, Gorilla Monsoon, ex-wrestler, great talker, did commentation with Bobby Heenan. He was a very classy guy. He just he's a staple in WWF. They actually named the gorilla position off of him because where you enter the ring is called the gorilla position because he made such a mark in that position.
And how good were Heenan and Monsoon together, Steve? How freaking good, bro.
It's just one word, chemistry.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable. Okay, now another guy you went right over. And, bro, I cannot let you go right over this guy because, Steve, believe it or not, this was my first driving partner on the road. Think about this. My first, who taught me the ways of the world. My first driving partner. The great Howard Finkel, man.
Oh, Howard. Howard was always bragged about he was the first employee Vince ever had.
That's right.
And that's the truth. Howard Finkel was the one that always called me to do things and always passed the messages. And God rest his soul, when he died, that really hit me because we've always communicated about everything. He knew all the history of wrestling to the T. He was just an all-around great guy.
Was there anybody more freaking loyal to Vince than Howard Finkel, bro?
No. And what a unique voice in the
unbelievable, man. Those ring announcements at the Garden, when the Garden was every Monday night and he would give the card for next month. Oh my God, unbelievable. All right, let's get back to, all right, Steve, I want you to work with this kid. It's going to be his first match.
Okay, this kid's going to be his first match. He's never been in front of an audience. He's only trained with his dad, and he chose me to wrestle him for his first match.
Yeah, probably from his dad, right? His dad probably smartened him up about you, right?
I had dad's first match in WWF also. And that man is Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson called me up and said, Steve, I want you to have my first match because you know how to make someone look good. And I said, Dwayne, I'll pick you up at the airport. I picked him up at the airport, which this is all documented on Young Rock, if you ever watched that. I picked him up at the airport. I said, Dwayne, how many matches have you had? He said, Steve, this is my very first match. I said, and you were going to wrestle me in front of 15,000 people? I said, I love it. I says, you just believe in yourself, believe in me, and do everything I tell you and watch what happens. So it was Corpus Christi, 1996. We drove to the hotel. He got ready. He had $7 in the bank. He was broke, completely broke. But he had expensive clothes. And I said to him, well, I don't understand this. You dress like you got money. He goes, well, I love clothes, but I don't have any money in the bank. So we go to the building. I say, Dwayne, just listen to what I say in that ring and watch what happens. He walked out. The whole audience says, get out of here. We don't know who you are. You're a nobody. They said, go back to Florida because they announced it from Florida. They says, we don't want to see you. He gets in the ring. I come in the ring. They boo me because I'm in the Heenan family. Then when I get in the ring, they start cheering me. Dwayne comes and whispers in my ear, they hate me. I says, don't worry. I'm going to show you a trick. He says, okay. I says, do a couple of fancy moves. I threw him in. He leapfrogged me. He drop kicked me. They all booed the shit out of him. He comes up to me and goes, it didn't work. I said, that's not it. I says, watch the magic. I kicked him in the stomach. I beat the hell out of him. I put the boots to him. I made it look like he didn't have a chance in hell to win against me. Then I flipped him over. He was on his butt. I put him in a reverse chin lock. Then he looks up at me and he goes, what do we do now? I said, stick your arm out and shake your hand slowly and raise it to your head. He goes, okay. And as he was doing that, the people were feeling he's recovering. So they went silent. When he got to his head, we were both standing up. I still had him in a reverse chin lock. I said, now here's the magic. You give me 2 kicks to the stomach, throw me around. I'm going to fly for you. I'm going to make you look like you wrestled for 20 years. Then you're going to go throw me in. I'm going to reverse throw you in. I'm going to go for a backdrop. You sunset flip me and beat me 1, 2, 3. When he did that, 15,000 people yelled, we love Dwayne. We love Dwayne. Even Stone Cold and Triple H. Stone Cold said, because they showed it in the Young Rock, he said, hell yeah. I turned 15,000 people from hating him to loving him. 3 days later, he got a huge contract.
You know what's amazing to me? See, like, this is what I love about the heritage and the history. And this is why I love having guys like you on, because people have no idea. Steve, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Bro, I swear to God, my last 20 years in the business, at least my last 10 years in the business, as I'm walking around the back, this is all I would see, Steve. This is all I would see. Wrestlers memorizing their spots. That's right. All. They walk around like this in the back all day, memorizing this. When you talk about calling it in the ring, like, people think you're nuts, Steve. They think you're crazy. They have no idea that's how you guys did it. And what's missing today because of that is exactly what you just laid out. Bro, you're listening to the crowd. They are dictating what you're doing, and you're calling it. That is such a lost art, but that was the business.
Right. You're absolutely right. And the people that memorize the spots, what do you do if spot 1 don't work? You go to spot 2. That all leads to boring. You got to feed off the crowd. You have to feed off the crowd. And I've always done that. I've always said, Steve, also what happens is if you're memorizing spots, what's the first thing that goes out the window? Your character. Because you can't remember a million spots and remember to get your character. So now, Steve, all of a sudden, everybody just becomes a wrestler because they're not doing their character work in there. That's right. You're absolutely right. You see, I could talk to you because you know the business. You know, if I did this on another podcast, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Yeah. But I think the people are finally coming around now because they killed the word jobber. Then they called it an architect. The WWF actually sent a camera crew to a hotel near my house, and they actually filmed me, and they called me an architect. And then they squashed it. They squashed the thing, you know, but they paid me $1,000 to do it. And it was, what the hell was his name? I can't remember his name now, but if they have to play places fired. But anyway, people are understanding it now because I always say it. There's winners and there's star makers. Mm-hmm. The jobber. If I would have told Vince, I want the Brooklyn Brawler to get pushed, I just want to be a top guy, I would have lasted 5 years. Doing it my way, I lasted 32 years because I knew the business. One time there was all these new guys walking into the building. And everybody was paranoid. They're going to take my spot. They're going to take my spot. I was sitting on one of those blue boxes with Razor Ramon. Razor goes, I looked at the Brooklyn Brawler. He looked at me and he said, more guys to put over.